Okay, good morning. Good morning. Let's kind of recap our betting week and the highs and lows of what has taken place this week. Some things to look out for. It's week 12 NFL. I think there's a lot of trap games today. You got to be extremely careful on what your plan of attack is for today. But just a quick recap on what a crazy, amazing week. I'd like to highlight the highs and lows. So, first things first, something that was a low point for us here at Betr would have been low point. Let's go with, normally I'm very sharp on primetime. I fell for the trap on the Cowboys-Texans. I thought it was more of a rivalry. I thought the money would have had something to do with it, but the Dallas Cowboys are a prime example of a team who sucks, who no matter how much public money is on the Cowboys, you just can't back them. I'll probably never back them the rest of the season. It's just really tough. They don't cover anything. With that being said, there's certain teams that no matter what the public splits are between sharp money and public money. Public money is the amount of tickets, or let's just say the percentage of tickets, but sharp money is the percentage of money. So as a lot of you know, I am more of a sharp bettor, so I like to look where the money's flowing, and even if the team is relatively shitty, that doesn't mean anything to me. But yeah, so I was a little upset. The Cowboys had a few chances to maybe cover that. That was my low point of the week, and I've noticed the last couple weeks I'm really falling behind from not necessarily Monday Night Football, but from Monday to Thursday is trap land everything, nothing but underdogs. We saw some wild stuff in hockey. Obviously, I'm not touching hockey probably ever again this season. But man, just a lot of crazy upsets. Even with NBA, you just got to be extremely careful. So my point is, tread lightly throughout the week, even myself. So unless you are really adamant about a certain game, I wouldn't necessarily bet too much money or too much volume, just because you want to have your ammunition ready for Saturday and Sunday. Or I think the week really kicks off on Thursday Night Football. We've really been killing it on Thursday Night Football in most primetime games. This was, I think, the most epic game of the season, and I don't know, it's just the snow, the Cleveland Browns. That was a huge bet for me, over $5,000 bet. Loved the Browns the whole way. That was more of along the lines of sharp money. Also, I think Mike Tomlin was 0-7 on Thursday night divisional games, so something, trend to look for. The snow is just an extra factor with Cleveland. That's a pretty difficult place to play. The dog pound. Those fans are crazy. They don't care what the record is, and they do not like the Steelers. They hate the Steelers up there. So, I'm from Ohio originally. Totally understand where the Browns could have stolen that game. Now, I did not, let me just clear this up, I did not think that they were going to win necessarily. I did hedge, I did a sharp move that did not win, but it's a smart move. So I did take the Steelers money line, and they're negative 240 pregame. I got them at even money. So my goal for that game was to middle it. I knew that the Browns were going to cash at +4, +3.5, but I wanted to hit both sides, so I wanted to hit the Steelers money line. I ended up losing that, unfortunately, but I kind of should have known better, because both the money of percentage of tickets as well as just overall money was heavy lopsided on the Steelers on the spread and the money line. So, Vegas would clean up if the Browns just were to win outright, which they did. So, but nonetheless, that was kind of the kickoff of the week. Thursday Night Football has really catapulted me where I need to be, and it really calibrates. The past 2 weeks, I would say I was down money going into Thursday night football. But Thursday night football not only would erase my losses, but it would also get me into the green or the positive. So I might not start betting until Thursday night football. And it allows you to focus on other stuff during the week too. So you don't want to be betting all day, every day, which I'm still, crunching numbers and analyzing things. I still try to give out 1 or 2 value plays per day, but you don't want to be slamming stuff during the week. It's just, it's extremely difficult. There's not a lot of games, so the lines are extremely tight. The lines are extremely sharp. Now on Saturday, with college football, there's a million games, so the lines, there's good spots. There's good value where if there's one game on for the night, that line is going to be laser sharp and thin, where you're going to win or lose by a point either way. So let's kind of recap and tailor back to Saturday. So Saturday was just a great week for Ohio. I mean, the Browns beat the Steelers. As you guys know, I'm not really an Ohio State Buckeye fan. However, they're starting to grow on me a little bit. What a great spot to kind of buy them low. They were -10 against Indiana. Indiana was 5-0, ranked 5th in the country. Something about college rankings that I want to go over. A lot of people, hey, this team was ranked that, this team was ranked this. The AP rankings or the top 25 rankings, they don't mean anything. Teams that are ranked get blown out all the time. Teams that are ranked don't cover all the time. I would say the rankings are a good key or roadmap of games to avoid. If you are betting college football, I would strongly suggest not touching the top 25. And if you do want to touch the top 25, you should not back the better team. Meaning, if we'll take Alabama, for example. Alabama is ranked, 7th, and they were playing like 5-5 Oklahoma in Oklahoma. Favored by 2 touchdowns, -14. Negative means simply they have to win by 14 or more. Plus 14 means Oklahoma could lose by 2 touchdowns, and it would be a push. If they lost by less than 2 touchdowns, they would win. Guess what happened? Oklahoma won in convincing fashion. I mean, it was ridiculous. I think they won. What was the score on that? Let's take a look here. I mean, this is just, it's mind-blowing. I'll recap some of these games. So Oklahoma won 24-3. So they were plus 14 underdogs, and they won outright. I'll go over some other games that did not cover. Penn State on the road versus Minnesota. I think the line was 10 or 11. They only won by 1, so Minnesota covers the spread. You'll see a trend with the top 25. These teams do not cover too often. Here you go, another one. Number 9, Ole Miss. 8-3. They lost at Florida, 17-24. Now the good teams, especially if they lose, like Tennessee, they lost the week previous. They won 56-0, so that's a good bounce back. I'm not sure if Georgia covered. I wonder what that spread was, 59-21. Let's take a look. UMass, 0-6, 2-9. I don't think it tells me the spread on this. Okay. Not sure if Georgia covered. It's just a game I wouldn't even pay attention to. But we'll go back to the top 25 for a second, and then we'll go to NFL. Boise State, number 12 in the country, 10-1. Do not cover against Wyoming. This happens all the time. Number 14, BYU gets upset by Arizona State. Arizona State I really like this year. They're kind of a sleeper. They cover a lot of games. They win a lot of games as underdogs. Here's another one. I was on the right side of this one. Texas A&M, 15 in the country, playing Auburn, who was 5-5. Auburn was +2, meaning the line is suggesting this is going to be a very tight game. This game went into 4 overtimes, and Auburn ended up winning. Texas A&M is a lot better team, but you can kind of see how this, trend is going. Another game I liked, Kansas, Colorado, Deion Sanders' coach team, 8-3, 16 in the country, ends up losing by 16 points to Kansas, who was 5-5. That's a lot of ranked teams that didn't win or won and didn't cover. So stay out of the top 25. There's one thing I can help you out with college football. Stick to totals or just stay out of the top 25, man. If you are betting top 25 games, you're going to get eaten alive. I'd say 1 out of 5 games in the top 25, like the favorite covers, stress-free. It's extremely difficult to pick those games. Man, it's tough. Like you'll lose a lot of money trying to do college football, especially in the top 25. So let's move on. Now let's go to week 12. I'm going to do some previews. I'm going to just try to give you a little bit of free picks on some games today. And, if you're a part of my community, obviously you're going to get all my picks today. This is just going to be like leans. Leans just means if I had to pick, I'll give you what I would suggest here. But let's go over this. And I'm also giving you some traps. Today is more about traps and what to avoid more than what to bet. I know this is going to sound funny, but the number one bet game of Week 12 NFL is Tampa Bay Buccaneers -6 versus the New York Giants. Now, they are receiving 90% of the bets. That is not good. And Daniel Jones is getting benched. Tommy DeVito is kind of a fan favorite. You can compare this to Deshaun Watson of the Browns getting replaced by Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston might be the most liked quarterback in the NFL. Like, it's hard not to like Jameis Winston. He has a lot of, funny quotes. He's just a good-spirited guy. I mean, everybody was just rooting for him against the Steelers. So, same thing with Tommy Cutlets for the Giants. But if I had to pick on this game, I would just, first and foremost, I'd recommend you just avoiding this game altogether. Now, there is a small part of me that just say the Giants suck, and they always suck, and they're not going to cover jack shit. However, NFL is entertainment. I believe by law they are described and classified as entertainment. If I had to pick, I would maybe buy 1 point and take the Giants up to +7. But my overall recommendation would be, and I know that's scary betting on the Giants. The Giants kind of fall in that category what I was talking about earlier with the Cowboys. Like, no matter what the public is doing, they suck so bad that it's just, they're a team you don't want to put your money on. Like, you're going to have an anxiety attack, a stomach ache, and you'll probably have to go to the bathroom. So I would avoid this game pretty much at all costs. But if I had to pick, I'd take the Giants in the points just because it's a number one public fade of the week. A game I feel a little bit better about. The number one public underdog is San Francisco 49ers. This I feel a lot more confident about, and here's why. The public, not only do they not win, well, they do win, but they lose a lot of big games more often than not. Public underdogs are even more likely to lose. So think of the entire public as the general population of sports bettors who are like your NPCs and your regular guy at your job. and whoever, just regular people that go to the casino and bet. When they think something or they think a certain way, typically it's not the right way. So I'll give you an example. I was at the Hard Rock Casino. I was with some of my younger guys who are exceptional bettors, some of my Laotian friends, and we were the only 3 people out of about a couple hundred people we talked to that had the Browns. Everybody in there was rooting for the Steelers, and we kind of looked at each other and laughed because we knew that we were on the right side. Same thing goes with this game, so I'm going to jump around a little bit, but the number 1 public underdog here, and the line tells me a lot. It would be the San Francisco 49ers versus Green Bay Packers. So with this game, the public is saying that the San Francisco 49ers are going to cover the spread. Typically, I would agree with that, but about roughly 86% of the money is bet on them to cover the spread. And the spread is moving up, which is, I don't know how I feel about that. I think it's gone from 3 to 5. What that means to me is the Packers are just going to ball out today. I would say Packers win convincingly. It's a tight matchup too. And also, one thing that I heard, let me just look this up. I heard Jair Alexander's not playing today. Whenever a team is heavily favored and then a star player is not playing, or let's just say injured, even more reason to take that team. So I might have to slam the Packers today. Let's see. Yeah, that line's gone all the way up to 5.5. Oh, Brock Purdy's not playing today. Yeah, good night. Jair Alexander's out. Trent Williams questionable. These are tough. No Nick Bosa. Packers should have their way today. Who the hell is starting quarterback? Yeah, that should be ugly. So that might be a good spot for you guys. And they still think the Niners are going to cover that. That's insane with the backup quarterback. Okay, moving on forward here. Let's go to one of my underdog plays of the day. I'm gonna give you a few things. I like to snipe money lines, underdog money lines for these are like lotto tickets, but they're also just extreme value. Here we go. Detroit Lions versus Indianapolis Colts. Spread is 7.5. A lot of bets on the Lions. Lions have been covering machines. They're one of the faces of the NFL. Here's my theory. This is a good one. Colts are pretty tough at home. They got a good defense. The Colts are mysteriously good for their record, and they have a lot of close games. Here's the analysis and breakdown. Let's just go through the Colts season in a kind of like a microcosm. The Texans, they lost at home, lost by 2. Tough loss to the Packers. They beat the Bears. Okay, cool. The Colts beat the Steelers. Somehow they lost to the Jags. Let's just give them a forgiveness pass on that. They beat the Titans. They beat the Dolphins. The Colts did lose to the Texans yet again in a close one. Lost to the Vikings, respectable. And lost to the Bills, respectable. Beat the Jets. So, in a nutshell, the Colts kind of do what they're supposed to do. But man, this is kind of got upset special written all over it. Now, yes, the Lions are 9-1. They lost to the Bucks, Tampa, which is at home. However, let's go through their season. Lions beat the Rams, okay. They beat the Cardinals, okay. They beat the Seahawks, okay. They beat the Cowboys, whoop-de-doo. They beat the Vikings in a close one. They kind of should have lost that game. They beat the Titans, okay. They beat the Packers, okay. They beat the Texans, okay. And they beat the Jags. I mean, their schedule, yeah, they're 9-1. Impressive wins. I mean, your most impressive win is probably over either the Packers or the Texans, perhaps. And they barely won these games. So I think the Lions are way overrated as far as their season. They're a great team, and they're dominating at least their division. But stepping out of the division, I don't know. The matchup, the Colts defense, I think the Colts are for sure covering this game, 100%. I could say my first free pick of the day would be, man, you can lock in that Colts +7, +7.5. That should be free cheese, in my opinion. However, I'm trying to get lucky. I like the Colts to win here, +300. So, one trend that I personally have found over the last few years is a line that I call sucker lines or parlay busters. Every single week for the last 2 years, just about every single week, a -400 money line team will lose outright. I look for these each and every week. The two that would be on the radar here, either or, I would say Colts, because the lines are -400. Colts +300 would be beautiful. Or, here's my secondary pick. Historically, the Patriots, Dolphins, the Patriots kind of own that. The Patriots are going into Miami, 7-point dogs. They're also +300. So I think one of those two teams will upset in their game. Now, the Colts are at home, maybe more momentum than the Patriots on the road. Patriots and Dolphins, I think they're both more shitty teams, so that might be more competitive. But one of those two teams, I believe, is going to lose. We will recap this later. But either the Dolphins are going to lose to the Patriots or the Lions are going to lose to the Colts. And I think the Lions have been winning too much. I think the Lions have been covering too much. It is time for them to die against the spread, so to speak. Okay, let's keep it pushing here. Commanders versus Cowboys, -11. That's a big spread. I wouldn't be scared of it. I don't see the Cowboys doing anything the rest of the year. They're pretty much been checked out. You know, CeeDee Lamb is dropping rap videos. That season has been done and over with. Chiefs Panthers, -10.5. 42.5 total. That's a game I would just avoid. Chiefs should easily cover that. One of the best teams versus one of the worst teams. But I could see them somehow, getting backdoored on that. I mean, they should blow them out, but, should blowing them out. Here, I'll give you the opposite effect. The Chiefs are not going to cover against the Panthers, or the Commanders are not going to cover against the Cowboys. I could be wrong, but I think one of those two games do not cover. Be careful there. Let's keep it pushing here. Texans versus Titans. Titans are trash. I would say Texans for sure. Here's the game I like. Broncos Raiders in Las Vegas. 5.5. 5.5 is a pretty big trap line. I kind of like the Raiders in this position with the +5.5. This should be an ugly game one way or another. However, I don't really care about that game either. Let's keep it pushing here. For the afternoon slate, I would say the Packers should dominate. This should be an easy win for them. And the public is all over the Niners somehow, some way, and Brock Purdy is out. Go Pack, go. Get your cheese heads on. That should be an easy win. Arizona Cardinals versus Seattle Seahawks. Spread is 1. I kind of like the over in this game, 47.5. But a lot of these Seattle games are going over. A lot of Cardinals games are going over. I don't really like the side. Anything could happen. In my mind, Seattle should win, but I don't know. I'm going to kind of avoid that game altogether. Cardinals games, I like them when they're big-time underdogs. Seattle, they're just a team I don't like to bet on one way or another. They always kind of do the opposite of what I need them to do. And then the night game. I love this matchup here. I would say typically these Sunday night games are having a trend of going under, even though I do like the Rams on a lot of overs. The Eagles are more of an under team to me, so I would probably lean under 48.5, under 49. I could see that game being lower scoring. But my pick or free pick of the week, I would say, if I could give you a free pick of the week, I would say Packers are going to win no matter what type of thing. And my strongest bet would be, I'm going to give you another underdog. I think this is the matchup of the season for the Rams. They're pretty good at home. Eagles are 4-1 on the road. The Eagles have been pretty good lately, pretty high lately. The Rams are a lot better than their record states, 5-5. And it's a pivotal game for them. Eagles are favored by 3. I would take Rams +3 as the safer bet. However, I would sprinkle some Rams money line. I think they have a very good chance of winning that game, especially with the splits on the public money and on sharp money there. So that's kind of my breakdown and analysis of the week. Just kind of summarizing and recapping this in a nutshell. Monday through Thursday, try not to bet too much. That's just me personally. I've been losing a lot during those days, so we're gonna scale it way down. I'd say the week for me starts on Thursday Night Football. Been crushing Thursday night and prime time all year, pretty much my whole life. College football, remember to avoid the top 25 by all means necessary. Just stay out of the top 25. And then as far as kind of reading lines, we'll stay with college football. If there's a ranked team and they're on the road and the line is small, that should be a pretty good clue that there's something wrong with that game. Odds makers and lines makers know something that you don't know, so stay away. Prime example, Texas A&M -2 against a pretty shitty Auburn team. They end up losing, so that's a kind of a telltale sign. NFL, I like to fade public dogs. Those never typically bark, so that would be the Packers game. I like. I'm going to try to hit a lotto ticket or a high value play. I think Colts money line has a lot of value. I do think they're going to cover the spread easily, +7 at home. That's a big line. Or Patriots beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins suck, the Patriots suck. It could be a very sucky competitive game. So that would be it. Games to avoid. I wouldn't touch the Buccaneers with a 10-foot pole today, even though that -6 scares the life out of me. I'd avoid the Chiefs-Panthers. I'd avoid the Cowboys-Commanders, even though one of those games should cover, but one of those games probably won't cover. Nightcap, I think the most value would be the Rams +3. So good luck this week. If you guys want to take it a step further, check out my Instagram at HighLimitHammer. All my packages are in my bio. I'm known as one of the best, most transparent people in the industry. We have good weeks, we have bad weeks, we typically have good months, but people appreciate that I actually bet all the games I send out. So the whole point here is to make you a better, and hopefully I help you avoid losing money on trap games or betting too much. So good luck. You'll see me at the casino later, and let's get this money.